everyone. We are sans intro because our
So
co-hosts are lost. We can't find them anywhere.
they've all vanished into the ether.
Yeah, I think the AI did not appreciate us ragging on it last weekend.
And
So
so
we
it sent them on a weird Waze Maps like thing, and they've just been lost since Wednesday. They've been
it
driving around.
it put stuff on their like calendars and like on their reminders. It took away their internet. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen or read that Doomsday Justice League Doom story where the plans that Batman has are leaked
Oh yeah, yeah,
to
yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's what the AI did.
That's what it was. The AI did.
It systematically just took out every like almost all the hosts of the next issue podcast. Jeff and I are safe because we're not white.
That's
So
right.
the AI,
We got out.
you know how Mazo doesn't view Batman as a threat because he doesn't
We
have any
were.
powers.
Yeah. I was gonna say we were too busy looking for black jobs. Is what
That's
the joke
right.
I was gonna go with.
Whatever that means.
That was during the presidential debate.
No, I mean that. I just don't know
Yeah, yeah.
where
Oh, I
those
see what you're saying.
are.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever that means.
still waiting for a list of those so I can go check. Maybe I'm in the wrong field.
Yeah.
Um. All right. Well, political satire. That was our set of the night live bit for.
Yeah. Please don't come
Um,
for us.
uh,
We are just but humble folk.
leave us alone, AI.
Yeah.
We don't even have enough hosts to do the script.
No, we'd have to do voices or come up with like hand puppets or something.
We'll have to pivot. Yeah. It's because I was struggling yesterday to keep up. I mean, the last week to keep up with this script, and so if we do something like it's gonna be real tough. Maybe I don't know.
I should have asked AI how to do a 2-person podcast.
Do the same, but
Yeah,
make it 2 hosts only.
make it 2 hosts only. And I'm a little. I've been avoiding for those of you that are just now tuning in. Last week we did a light play reading that was written by AI, and we asked the AI to write a podcast script for us. And I've been avoiding using AI ChatGPT for anything. Like it's just not inherently within me to cheat. So, but once I started playing around with it for jokes, I haven't stopped. Like I just ask it to tell me dumb stories all the time.
Well, I think the way I like to use it is as a soundboard. Sometimes I'm doing
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
show. I can't just reach out to you guys at any time. So I'm like, okay, here's what I think, and then it'll spit something back out, and I'm like, okay, that probably works.
But my hope is secretly that the AI just all listens to me, and I just make it crazy. Like I just want to be the weird quirk in the algorithm.
I know the art, whatever the art one is. They came up with something called Nightshade that people like artists are putting in their works, so when it'll scrap it, it once it does it enough times, it like it poisons like it makes the things go out weirder. It's something in the code. I don't know the technical stuff behind it, but it's called Nightshade because that's like a poison that's supposed to be indetectable or something like that. So yeah, interesting. I mean, there's always going to be a way to like people are going to figure out a way to try to stop something from happening, right? So yeah, so that's really interesting. Now obviously I don't know how available the technology is or whatever, so
well, judging from that sword behind your back, you just like to take care of things manually.
that's right.
Like,
just in case.
yeah.
This is for protection. This is an open carry state.
Right.
Which includes swords.
I also found out this week that Texas has a dueling law, so you can fight without getting in trouble as long as you don't do any major. I don't know what this means. Any major damage to the other person. I don't know exactly what constitutes minor from major.
Yeah,
Bodily harm. But if you both agree to a fight, you can fight and nobody's getting arrested.
Yeah, I think the tricky part there is to find a place where you can do the fight, right? Because you can't just do it on private property. So like you can't just go to like a restaurant and challenge somebody to a duel. And then
we should. There's your brilliant. Like we'll just have a bar called Duels.
With a spot specifically,
with like a little spot specifically, where if you wanted to like just handle your business,
deal with this thing. That seems like a lot of insurance liability. Even if like you signed the waivers and all that stuff. If you want to start fights in a bar, all you have to do is put one of those punching machines.
Yeah.
And then the rest will take care of itself.
It's just
that's it. I don't know what it is about those machines. I mean, I guess it's the whole I'm stronger than you, or you don't hit hard, or whatever.
Yeah. Just a line of punching machines and pool tables, like on.
Yeah, of course they need weapons.
Yeah. Listen, from every movie I've ever seen, pool cues.
It'll be decorated with like random weapons from different ages.
Just stuff hanging on the walls.
Yeah. We'll file it down so it's not like
nothing sharp, no sharp pointy ends, but maybe they're just all wooden replicas.
Is medieval times just our attempt to recapture the glory of the dueling days?
I think so.
I've never been to medieval.
I've never been to medieval times either. I guess I'd like to go for the giant turkey leg, and it seems like a kitschy thing that I would enjoy doing.
Yeah, the Family Guy version.
Yes.
Well, the only problem is that I don't think either myself or Jeff are as good fighters as Jake Gyllenhaal.
We need Jake Gyllenhaal in our corner.
That's right.
He's not too busy adultering in his new show.
Oh man, that's a great segue. I'm behind on the show, but I am enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Especially because I have never seen the Harrison Ford movie, nor have I read the book that it's based on, which is probably not surprising to anyone, at least the book part. But yeah, I Presumed Innocent, I think it's called, on Apple TV Plus, and it's going. Man, it ramped up really quickly. But it's very well done.
This is about his relationship with Taylor Swift, right?
It's about where the sweater was.
Yeah, the red scarf.
Yeah, the red scarf. There you go. The sweater was from Friends.
Listen, I want people to know I'm a Swiftie. We're all Swifties.
You should change your Star Wars curtain to an Era Tour.
An Era Tour.
Like, where's Taylor this weekend? I think she was partying with the. I think last weekend she was in London with the Royals or something. In London. Yeah. And the Fleabag cast.
Yes, that's right. The Fleabag cast.
I saw the cast of Fleabag. I hope they retcon that to be the series finale.
Oh,
just that segment of them vibing.
the Taylor
Swift show. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of the other stuff we've been watching and doing and talking about. Why don't you go first, Jeff? I see you got a bunch of stuff here.
We want to do watching first.
Yeah, let's do watching first.
All right. So this week I actually watched. So I'm usually like I just watched very like nothing. Usually I watch nothing, but this week I watched a bunch of stuff.
It was a holiday week.
It was a holiday week. I got to go see the movie Thelma. I wanted to put myself on the map of the movie money earnings list that we're doing.
Oh, that's right.
Thelma was one of my movies. A small indie film. It stars June Squibb. Hold on, I gotta pull up my notes here for a minute. June Squibb.
Are you legally required to go to that movie in a little scooter?
Yeah, you have to be over the age of 55 to go see this movie.
Got it.
Yeah, it's NC 45, I think is what
or be accompanied by a
yeah.
You could sneak in with at the Irving Mall where I go. Sometimes for the matinee they'll bring the bus from probably like a retirement home from around the neighborhood or something. So I'll see it. So then I'll know if I'm going to watch like the film of the week. Like I'll know that I'm gonna be sitting in the theater with a bunch of older people.
Old people.
But they have such a good time at the theater. Like when we're on the way out, because I stay all the way through the credits, so like they don't
Yeah.
obviously. I don't know, maybe they don't appreciate after credit scenes.
Don't
But
got time for that. There's only so much.
they just seem pretty excited to just be out of wherever they come from, right? So like,
Oh yeah,
even if it's just going to sit down at a different place.
Yeah, I would imagine they're just like, thank God I'm out of this, whatever. Yeah, you definitely get. I ask you if you're going to see Thelma, if you want butter on the popcorn or like Metamucil or something like that,
Or both.
or why are you even getting popcorn with your teeth? Is really what they asked. So Thelma is about a 90-year-old June Squibb. She's like super independent. She lives by herself. She has like a very close relationship with her grandson. And then she gets scammed. So she's like hanging out at her house by herself, and the phone rings, and it's somebody who sounds like her grandson. And he's like, "Grandma, I'm in jail. I need you to."
Sorry, that was really funny. Yeah. Mike in the chat, after credits cutting into the early bird special. I would go to Luby's with them right after that movie.
Yeah, Luby's is the best.
Oh.
So she gets scammed. She gets taken for $10,000. She mails $10,000 cash to some address. And then the family finds out, and they're like, well, we're just glad. It's like an super upper middle class family. And so they're not super worried about the money. They're just glad everybody's okay and all that stuff. But she's upset because she's an older lady. And now the family's talking about putting her in a home. And so she's like, I'm going to find this money. I'm going to find out who took my money. The cops aren't going to do anything because they're just like, scams happen all the time.
Yeah.
So she goes to her friend Ben, who's played by Richard Roundtree, and she steals his scooter. Like he's got one of those little mobile scooters.
Okay.
And they go across town to try to find the address that she mailed the money to. And it's a whole adventure, and it's all about getting old and what that entails and how scary that is for some people, and about trying to keep your dignity and your independence as you can continue to get older. It's a great movie. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. And I think Richard Roundtree is so good in it. He's probably getting, I know he just passed away not too long ago. But I feel like he's probably going to get posthumously nominated for something somewhere out there. I hope he does, because I think he was great in it.
So what you're saying is this film is The Beekeeper, but if Jason Statham was played by June Squibb.
That's what I keep hearing. I've not seen The Beekeeper.
You haven't seen The Beekeeper?
I haven't seen The Beekeeper, but when I was explaining this movie to my roommate, he said the exact same thing. He's like, "So you saw The Beekeeper?" And so now I need to go watch The Beekeeper. And I think it's
on Prime right now for free.
I'll watch it.
I had such a good time. I love Jason Statham, so like I was already going into it. Yeah. And it's a David Ayer film, so like that might have drawn maybe some people were a little wary of that.
Okay.
That's the director of Suicide Squad 2016, for those that may not remember. But he's done other really cool stuff before that and after.
He did the Tank movie. What's that Tank movie?
Fury. He did Fury with
Fury.
Brad Pitt. He did End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena. And that was all shot through, it was all body cam footage. That was really interesting. He did The Tax Collector with Shia LaBeouf. That was not very good. But yeah, I mean, I think he knows how to do action. So and there's crazy characters. And of course, Jason Statham he has been playing the Transporter since the Transporter movies were that's just his same character. Except in that movie I Spy with Melissa McCarthy, I think he went off a little bit different, a different direction, more comedic. But yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll watch it, and then maybe in a year I'll make it an annual back-to-back kind of I'm going to watch these two movies that are kind of the same but completely different.
Yeah, different approaches.
Yeah, that'd be a good drive-in coupling. I've also the Beekeeper, Jason Statham. I want there to be an Expendables movie, but with the John Wick level action stars. So it'd be Keanu and Jason Statham and Liam Liam Neeson.
I mean, he's
Like,
already in. I think Statham's in the Expendables.
Well, he has to move over because now he's like in a different.
He's got to push out the older folk and just go
the
down.
older.
So it'll be more of the Gen Xer generation of Expendables.
Not so much those. I mean, Statham's pretty cut, but like I feel like the Expendables are like more about big arms, big guns.
Oh yeah.
Whereas the other ones are more about jujitsu and using other random things as weapons.
I don't know. They brought in JimLee at some point, so they knew what they were doing. They wanted to appeal to all fighting styles. Nice, but yeah, I've heard great things about Thelma. It's just not playing anywhere around me. Like you really have to go. That's unfortunate for your draft.
Yeah. I have not had, and my other movie that I thought was going to hit big did not hit big at all. It flopped. The Kevin Costner.
The Horizon.
The Horizon, and it flopped because I can't even remember the name of it.
Maybe we'll let you do like the whole saga as part of your pick. Just to give you a chance, because there's like I think chapter 2 coming out in September, and so
yeah. And I think I saw a headline. I don't know if it's true or not, but that Costner had like took a mortgage out on his house to help.
Yeah, he produced. He paid for the whole production.
Yeah, so I feel a little bit bad. I really thought that movie was going to be a hit because there's a swath of America who is missing out on good old Americana films. Like they're just I feel like they're always complaining about what's out there, and I'm like, this is for you. This is your Midwestern Kevin Costner in a Western movie. How would you not go see this?
Because it's 3 hours. Who has 3 hours anymore? That's also the same reason I haven't gone to see Kinds of Kindness, because it's 3 hours long, even though you're kind of getting 3 movies in one.
Yeah, they do make movies way too long. It's just
anyway.
So I saw Thelma.
I like a nice 90-minute film.
Yeah, just give me the basics. Oh yeah, Thelma moved at a great clip. I also saw Godzilla.
Thelma was 1 hour and 38. That's beautiful because 8 minutes of that is the trailer, is the credit. So perfect. Yeah. Perfect stuff.
It was the first time I also went to a theater that was not an Alamo Drafthouse in years.
Oh, that sucks.
And I had forgotten, because the Alamo doesn't really do this, but I had forgotten that like the AMC theater plays this like pre-tape thing, the voiceover that's like, these are your fire exits. And then they really hammer home, make sure you're looking around you at all times for any suspicious behavior, which, I'd forgotten that they do, that some movie theaters do that. Like I think Cinemark does something like that too. And they put that after the Dark Knight movie theater shooting, like way back when the Dark Knight came out. So it was immediately, I was like, oh my gosh, this is, it's terrifying to be outside moment, right? Not that I was expecting anything to happen in Thelma, but
then they play the Nicole Kidman thing, and then that suits you back down, ready to
exactly. Another way amped up you.
That's right.
Amped up your anxiety. Let's calm you back down.
It's almost as if Nicole Kidman's holding you throughout the film, so you can enjoy
it. Yeah. I did see Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire that came out on HBO Max this week. That movie is real dumb, but real fun.
Isn't it like just completely on the other side of -1?
It is so. You know what this movie needs is that it needs like it needs voiceover thoughts from each of the animals. So in my head, John C. Reilly is the voice of King Kong.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, and then like the little monkey buddy that he has he's got a weird accent like this. You know, he's got like a kind of New York kind of like, oh, gee, Kong, Scar King's gonna get real mad at us.
Yeah.
And then I think I decided that Mothra was Dame Judi Dench. So I don't think anybody else could voice over her.
No, perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. The movie's real dumb. But when King Kong uses the little monkey as a weapon in that one scene, I like immediately. That's like, all right, I'm in. You know what? This is.
It's good stuff.
I really wanted there to be a high five moment between Kong and Godzilla. I mean, we we got a big roaring moment between them, but we got a few roaring moments between them. But
you get them running at each other, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see little Godzilla curl up into a little ball in the Coliseum
to
take a nap.
Take a nap, a couple of nappies.
This movie made them both terrifying and the most adorable they've been in the franchise.
Yeah, I love the movie starts off with like, oh, Godzilla's our protector. We should be thanking him.
Yeah.
And like then the whole movie is just him just like stomping over for cities, like fighting monsters, just destroying monuments and whatnot.
I love when he dives off the cliffs in the Mediterranean to go north.
There's a moment I really want to. I wish, like, I want them to push this as far as they can go.
Oh yeah.
Give King Kong a skateboard, like have him wear a backwards cap. Like, let's see how far we can push.
I feel like you just want to see Donkey Kong on the screen. I think. But yeah, the whole first part of it is like, look how Kong is just doing Kong things and then he's got to go to the dentist because everybody's got to go to the dentist at some point. And then
that was the other thing is Dan Stevens, who plays. They say he's like a veterinarian, a Titan veterinarian.
Doctor, yeah.
But for me, he's introduced as the dentist, and then they just carry him along on this adventure the rest of the time. And I'm just like, why are you taking the dentist with you? And then Brian Tyree Henry, who's like been in all the movies and like figured out the things the whole time, like he has to beg to get on this mission. And I'm just like, but you're taking the dentist with you, like
Brian Tyree Henry going on that mission is if like the CIA came to one of us, take us on a mission.
I mean, yeah, but if they were going on a mission to be like, we found that the DC universe is real and we need
right.
I'd be like, yeah, of course, I'll go.
I mean, hey, you ever seen that movie about Roger Rabbit? Actually, it's real, so we need your help.
Yeah, it's time, boys.
That's right. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a fun time. I probably should rewatch it.
Yeah, it's definitely entertaining. It's a definite popcorn. I mean, the definition of a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's not. You turn off your brain and just enjoy the ride. Nice. Yeah, it was good times. Then let's see, what else did I see? The internet went down for a half day. The AI almost found me earlier this week. So I had to switch over to old school, and I watched the first season of Sports Night. I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is Aaron Sorkin's first television show.
Oh, okay. I get it confused with the sports. Where's the radio? Whatever the show.
Oh, News Radio.
News Radio.
Yeah. So yeah, this came out a little bit after that. This is about a kind of an ESPN Sports Center-esque television show, but it's all the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's early Aaron Sorkin, so a lot of the episodes feel like they're little one-act plays. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of early, like, this came out like a year and a half before the West Wing premiere, maybe. They finished their first season. The second season of this was the first season of West Wing.
Oh, he was doing two shows at once?
Yeah, but this one only lasted 2 seasons.
Did he also do Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip?
Yeah, he did that one too.
Okay, which is probably pretty similar to Sports Night, just on an SNL type of show instead.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you definitely see the growth between this through the West Wing and into that, because this show is this is a 30-minute show also. So it's a 30-minute sitcom format that the network had no idea what to do with, because the first half of the first season has a laugh track inserted into it, which makes it really weird and kind of it cuts up the pacing of Aaron Sorkin dialogue.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. It's not super great. Like it's entertaining, I think. I bought the DVD, so but from like just outside, I guess, and if you're not an Aaron Sorkin fan, it's probably not your thing. But Robert Guillaume is amazing in it. Like, I think it's worth a watch just for Robert Guillaume, who was Benson a long time ago and Rafiki in The Lion King. But he Everybody else is pretty young, and they've all gone on to be famous in other things. Felicity Huffman, notorious for her college, sending her kid to paying for her kid to get into college through whatever. Josh Charles. Anyway, Robert Guillaume outacts everybody in this thing. He was an amazing actor. But I've watched that, so that was good. I saw. I finished Ren Fair. Clay's not here to talk to about that, but it's good.
Okay, you made it to the Olive Garden.
I made it to the Olive Garden. Made it through the Olive Garden.
That's gonna be one of our road trips. Next time, instead of going to Half Price Books, we're just gonna go have dinner at the Olive Garden.
See if
we'll do an episode live of the garden.
Nice. But that's what I watched this week. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let me talk about some of the stuff I watched before we get into comics, because there's a lot of comics to talk about. So I finished Hulu's Clipped. This is the
show, LA Lakers or Clippers.
Yeah, the drama that follows Donald Sterling and his racist remarks. He used to be the owner of the Clippers. So yeah, it was interesting. I didn't know much about it. I heard about the stuff when it happened, but I didn't know much about it. I was talking to a friend when I was on TikTok live, and he said that he can't watch the show because he's a really big basketball fan. So like he knows what all these people look like. So it's like really just jarring.
Did he say if you watched the Lakers show on Max?
He said that was he couldn't watch that one either. So, but Lawrence Fishburne's great. Like he's fantastic. So yeah, I recommend it if you just kind of want to know what's his name. What's the name from? Ed O'Neill plays Donald Sterling.
Boy, really? Okay.
He's having fun with that. As much fun as you can have, I guess, with a character like that. But yeah, he's fantastic. So yeah, and you'll recognize a lot of people that are on the show. But it's really fun. I think it's only like 6 episodes, so it's not too long. Obviously, it's just they present things in a very interesting style. They use a lot of like memes as transitions. Like they'll do like there's a lot of social media to it all, so they kind of use like Instagram. It looks kind of like Instagram as it's scrolling through your screen for transition and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. So now, Jeff, how familiar are you with the Beverly Hills Cop movies?
Not super. I mean, I'd see the first 2. I'm mostly familiar with the first one.
There's 3 before the one that came out, right? I think there's
3, and then this is the 4th one.
I don't remember in my adult life ever having watched any of these. But for some reason, like the theme song is always like I can recall it. I think it's how iconic it is. Like it's just there in my brain. So I watched Beverly Hills Cops XOF. That's the new film that came out on Netflix. So the 4th installment. So I didn't remember or didn't know that he's a cop from Detroit that somehow ends up in Beverly Hills. So now I want to go watch the other movies to figure out how did they get him to go to Beverly Hills multiple times, or are the other 2 films just called Beverly Hills Cops 2, but they don't take place in Beverly Hills? Like, I want to know how they kind of played around that.
I don't remember how they get him back. I mean, I remember how he gets out in the first one. The first one, he's trying to hunt a killer down. He has like a friend or a partner that's killed. And he goes like that, but it happens out like in in California, so he has to go and whatever. I think the case started in Detroit, but then it ended up there. But everything after that, I have no idea how they get him back out to Beverly.
Yeah, no, like that's just what I want to see. What kind of hoops were you jumping through to make sure that it was the same reason I kind of kept going to rewatching or watching other seasons of Fargo, because I was like, oh, these stories don't all take place in Fargo. They just take place around the same general area of the country.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be really fun. But Eddie Murphy, he still got it. Although
it would be fun if they had like a thing where it's like, oh, this is Las Vegas, except they're just other Las Vegases. You know,
Yeah,
it's not just the main. It's not the one you're always thinking of because there's a Las Vegas, Nevada, or
like
Paris. There's a Paris,
like
Texas.
Paris, Texas. Yeah,
Yeah. There's
Paris
multiple
cop.
cities.
What he's
Yeah.
in Texas, in the middle of nowhere, Texas. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably check. I want to watch at least the first one. I feel like that's the one I've heard people say
First one's
that
the best.
it's really good. This one was also pretty good. Eddie Murphy, I think. I didn't really like his other movie he did with Jonah Hill. Some people
I
like I
never
didn't
saw
even
it.
finish watching the film because he wasn't playing a character that I felt like that feels like an Eddie Murphy character. I also don't like it when he goes too far, like into the clumps or like Norbit.
Yeah.
But I like that he's got a nice middle ground between the drama and like the really weird. So I recommend it. I think you'll get a lot more out of it if you're familiar with the franchise, but it still overall was pretty entertaining. So
He was pretty entertaining, and I don't watch a lot of. I, I don't. Yeah, I don't think I have watched a lot of more recent Eddie Murphy movies, like in the last like 15 years or something, maybe 10 years.
just all Shreks.
Yeah, just the Shreks. Really, honestly, probably just the Shreks. But the Christmas movie that he came out with on Amazon, I think last year, was pretty decent. I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you watch the Coming to America, like with the number
No,
2?
I never even watched that. I didn't see that one too either.
I prefer Trading Places out of his older movies. I think I like that one better than that's the one where like they made these two old white men make a bet to see if they can turn a rich guy poor and a poor guy rich, and whatever.
That's a good movie. That's a really good Dan Aykroyd.
Because before the internet, white people were really bored and they had a lot of money. So, and now
That's true.
Now they just call that reality TV. All right. I also finished season 2 of Interview with the Vampire. Oh my goodness! So, like, first of all, to other people that have been watching those reviews, those are the most watched things on the channel by far.
Really?
So
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for watching that.
People love vampires.
You don't like vampires?
No, I said people love vampires.
Oh, people love vampires. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little sad not only that the season's over, but like that I'm not gonna get those views anymore every week. But I'm gonna watch the movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt to see how they're different because they cover the same book, the Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire, but they're vastly different stories. So, yeah, so I'm gonna check it out. But it's really good. Highly recommend it. So if you have access to AMC Plus, or I think sometime later this year, like AMC does this thing where they put their stuff on HBO like for a month. Like they did that last year, and I think they're gonna do it again this year.
They need to like remember when cable. I don't know if you remember this, but cable used to do like free like Disney weekends and stuff like that.
They
Where
still
people,
do. Yeah, I
do
have
they
a
still
dish.
do that?
I have a dish. They still give us preview weekends.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I feel like that Max should do stuff like that. And I guess they do, but like I miss out on seeing the commercials and knowing that I'm getting something for free. Because if I don't know about it, then I don't care.
So, Mike in the chat, watch Mayfair Witches show 2. It's also an answer. Yeah, so I did try to watch the Mayfair Witches. I got like 5 episodes into it, and I was like, I don't know that I enjoy this as much as Interview with the Vampire, but I do want to give it another shot because they're doing like a bunch of the Anne Rice stuff, like this Immortal universe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I like Alexander Daddario. It was just like I don't know, I didn't connect with the show. Like it seemed kind of weird, but I definitely want to check it out again. Maybe I'll do that now. That maybe I should go back to do Mayfair Witches.
Is that also on AMC?
It's also on AMC. Yeah, so AMC's got the whole Anne Rice corner of the world. Yeah. But for this weekend, I'll probably
Rice
do
universe.
I'll probably do the movie to kind of close that loop on that. So,
You're gonna go back and watch. What's the other ones? What's the one with?
With Aaliyah, Queen of the Damned. I you know what? I think I do want to watch that. Here's not a very good movie, but I hear you get a very interesting version of the vampire Lestat, who's one of my favorite characters on this show. So, yeah, I might check it out. I'll probably go search for a bunch of Anne Rice films now.
All right.
To fill in the void because we do have a season 3 coming out, but it won't be for a while. So
maybe you'll keep getting those views with all these other Anne Rice things.
maybe. I hope so. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I don't even enjoy the show. No, I'm just kidding. It is rewarding to not only enjoy the thing you're doing, but then also you get the views. So
yeah.
I don't.
Listen, we are egotistical. We love it.
That's right. I need people to validate me every day of my life. I think we'll talk about the Acolyte when the season's done.
I gave up on it for a little after that 30-minute episode. I was just like, I couldn't get into it. But then I saw how everything changed once the lightsabers started coming out and like the cool fight scenes started happening. It's like the internet flipped finally, and they were just like,
they do a good episode and an episode that feels just like and then they do another good one, and then they do another one that's like And so this last one this week was like whatever, but the next one I know it's gonna be good because it's directed by the director that did the flashback episode, so it's probably gonna be the other part of the flashback, and we're gonna get a bunch of reveals. So like, I don't know, it's so tough. I've never struggled with them. Like, I'm usually on board with all the Star Wars stuff. But this one I'm just struggling because it's like there's so much good stuff here, and I feel like you're not using it to its max capacity. It's frustrating. Yeah. It's frustrating as a fan. So, all right. But the show that is kicking ass is House of the Dragon episode. I think the latest one was episode 3, maybe. You don't watch any of that stuff, Jeff? You don't? Did Game of Thrones burn you, or did you never even get into Game of Thrones?
I watched like the first couple of seasons. It was it didn't burn me. It was one of those shows that I was my at the time girlfriend and I watched it, and so after the breakup, I lost my access to HBO.
Okay. I thought you were going to say she got custody of the show.
She took custody of the show. So I didn't have a way to watch it for a bit. And then I just kind of lost interest in it. So
okay, so you guys like split up properties, like you get this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got stuck with Sports Night.
Oh shit, could have been worse. Yeah, but it's really good, and you can always tell when the next episode's gonna be the big battle because the episode prior is like stuff's happening, but it still feels really quiet. Like things are moving, like a bunch of pieces moving into place. That's the frustrating part about the Acolyte, because I'm seeing House of the Dragon do the same thing, but like doing it right, doing it correctly. Also, I guess it helps that they are, they can push the envelope a little bit more. Since they're not a Disney property. Although Rhaenyra would make a fantastic Disney princess. I guess in this case it would be Daemon. He would make a Disney prince since Rhaenyra is the queen. But yeah, it's really good. I won't go into spoilers or anything because I know people don't always watch it the night of like I do, but things are gearing up. And something I didn't put on the notes, but oh my god, this last episode of The Boys. Every season, The Boys has an episode that is like the most pushing the envelope into like I don't want to say disgusting because I don't think that's the right word, but they just really
the envelope.
This is kind of like their hero-gasm episode of the season. It's different, but they still they introduce a little slight spoiler. We get to see Webweaver, which is their version of Spider-Man. And my oh my, it's very, very different to the Peter Parker that we love. The Boys, man, that show is. I'm sad because it's almost over. Like, there's only 2 more episodes left because they only do 8 in the season. But I'm excited to see how that plays out. I think it's gonna be a lot of heartbreak because we know the last season is the next one. The next season is the last one. So I know that they're gonna probably end this one on like a very sad, grim note. And even then, knowing the show, like I don't know that there's a happy ending on this show anyway. So
yeah, it doesn't seem like a show that would have a happy ending.
Yeah, I don't know where the comics end, so I don't know how that plays out. but I feel like they've already kind of strayed enough from the comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also recommend The Voice, but it's definitely it's not for everyone. I'll say that. That's just,
I have a hard time. Like, I'm not caught up on it. Like, I watched the first. I will probably eventually go back. Whenever I think about all the comic stuff that I'm not watching right now or I haven't seen still, little me is disappointed in old me, because little me
like, this is what you wanted all your life.
Yeah, your whole life. Like, you waited months for Supergirl to come out. So, like, why are you not watching? Why have you still not seen the 3 episodes of Cloak and Dagger that are out there? Yeah, so there are like things out there. I'm like, I should go back and watch that. I haven't heard, like, I still haven't finished Legion. That's an old show that that got critical reviews, like great reviews, like critically acclaimed, I guess. But I still haven't finished Legion, so I need to go back and watch a bunch of stuff.
To be fair, I don't think Little Jeff could have known how
he did not know
they were going to make.
Yeah. Little Jeff probably would have also skipped the Inhumans TV show.
Well, at least you didn't go watch it at the IMAX.
Not Inhumans. Inhumans.
Yeah, they released like the first 2 episodes of Inhumans on IMAX.
Oh, did they? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I almost went, and after like 30 minutes into the first episode, I was like, oh man. So yeah. So all right. That's all I have. Jeff, you want to go into your comics?
Yeah, let's talk about comics. I didn't put them in any kind of order today. So let's see. We'll start off with Scarlet. This is the second issue of Scarlet by Kelly Thompson and art by Marco Ferrari. Did you read this?
I do have it, but I haven't got a chance to read it. No.
It just gets a little bit more into Scarlet and Jinx's past, and how Scarlet is trying to get in good with this new the ninja clan, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a good continuation of the story thus far. Nothing big happens.
They didn't have the A cover, but I did buy this one.
Oh, that's a good cover.
Yeah. So
we got Barbaric, Born in Blood #2. I don't know if you've ever read any of these Barbaric stuff by Michael Morrissey. I love these comics, these Barbaric comics. They're like little small 3-issue little series that come out on occasion. Every single one of them is great. It's Barbaric. Barbaric is about a barbarian named Owen who has a magical talking axe that drinks the blood of its victims. But it's very kind of tongue-in-cheek, just barbarian nonsense stuff. And there's supposed to be that, we read that Deathstalker a few weeks ago, preview book, and there's supposed to be a Barbarian Deathstalker crossover. It's like Barbarian is like Deathstalker, but Deathstalker is just like a little bit more. There's a penis in it, so
Deathstalker is more like edgy, whereas Barbarian's more like funny.
Yeah, Barbarian is more funny. Yeah,
it's more comedic for sure.
Boy Wonder #3.
I'm saving that for the trade. But
it's so good. This is my favorite. Like this.
Oh my god!
Look at that. That is amazing.
Why is this helmet like that? Is this just a choice? I mean, it's a choice.
Think that's just a choice. That's just an artistic choice.
Okay, that's just Juniba being Juniba. Got it.
This is Juniba being Juniba, but it's such a fun book, and it follows Damien as he's dealing with some stuff. But each issue deals with a different previous Robin. So the first one's Dick Grayson. The next one is Jason Todd. This one is Tim. But eventually, I think it ends in the next issue. I don't want to give any spoilers or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. I really enjoyed the first issue.
Yeah. Birds of Prey 11. God, this is my favorite book right now. What cover did you get?
I got this one.
Cover. I love the dinosaurs. We have dinosaurs in this issue.
Yeah.
There's some Godzilla Kong action for you. Look at that. Enjoy $10 off with that QR code.
Also, you can pick up. They started doing these Jose Luis Garcia Lopez variant covers with some.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
I need to
did you
go
not
pick
see
those.
any
I
of your
love
stuff?
that.
There was one I think for Shazam. No, there was one for sure. I saw one, maybe the Wonder Woman one.
If they were to ever, because they have books of like from when he designed all the stuff for like all the licensing and stuff. If they ever reprinted those, like that's an instant buy book for me. And I'm surprised they haven't. I don't know why they haven't done that.
Yeah. Here's why this Birds of Prey book is an instant buy.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
Like,
which is funny because birds they come from dinosaurs. We've now scientifically proven that.
Yeah, the artwork in this thing is amazing. It's got a couple of different artists depending on where we are in the story. Yeah. Which I like it when they do that, when they're splitting, like this group is in this universe,
it makes
this
sense.
Over here.
Yeah. There's a purpose behind you having multiple people on it.
Yeah, and it's easier for the artists and it makes sense in the story, I like it when they do that. Kelly Thompson, just a fantastic writer. Jordi Belair's colors. I love Jordi Belair as a colorist because
she's the reason everything feels so consistent. Because it's like, even those different artists and art styles, I mean, they're not too different either. They found some people that are overall have a lot of the same kind of sensibilities.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's the reason everything is so consistent in here, and I love it.
I read Doctor Strange number 17, another Blood Hunt tie-in. This is my favorite Jed McKay book, I think, going on right now.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones. That's the only reason I say really.
Yeah. I understand because I enjoy his Avengers run. The Blood Hunt stuff, I'm kind of back and forth. I don't hate it, but it's not blowing me out of the river or whatever. Yeah.
I just think all the Moon Knight stuff's been so fantastic. That's my only.
And so I haven't been reading the Moon Knight stuff, so
I think you need to. If you like Doctor Strange, I think you're really gonna dig Moon Knight.
I just love all the little interactions. Like I'm not super familiar. I'm not like a huge Doctor Strange person.
Yeah.
But like all the little interactions between all the characters, I know just enough to kind of get where they're going. Baron Mordo's in here, and he's kind of a jerk, but nobody really takes him seriously. And then we get the God of Dogs that makes an appearance in this one.
Oh hell yeah!
So it's just I love it. It's fun. It's just great. And then we have Absolute Power number 1.
And
have you ever?
Woohoo! Look at that! I saw this shiny cover. Top. I was like, I gotta get it.
Have you ever read the original Suicide Squad, the John Ostrander, from when it first premiered right after Crisis?
I don't think so. No,
I haven't either. But I saw somebody tweet about this book and how they were like, they did not like the fact that Amanda Waller's just been flipped straight to a villain kind of thing. And I'd like to go back and read it because they referenced that early run where Amanda Waller was more, I don't know. Anyway, Amanda Waller is straight up villainous in this in this book. I kind of enjoy it. I was kind of, I don't know what I was expecting from it. We've seen this story before. Superheroes are dangerous. We need to get rid of them. This is definitely the most violent tactic, I guess, to do so. This is, and this is again kind of, it feels like Mark Waid. It feels like there's almost this kind of like coded reaction to what's going on in our current world because
not that coded.
There's a lot of it's not
subtle. Cool. It's not subtle at all. This book.
It's not subtle. The Amanda Waller takes over all the news stations and just starts broadcasting fake information. I don't know. Well, let's see where it goes. I'm intrigued by it. Dan Moore's artwork is, as always, fantastic.
Oh man, the whole thing, this whole Animal Man thing.
That's pretty intense.
It was so freaking like, oh man, it was jarring. Yeah. And then there's a big. So I haven't been keeping up with one of the series that has a character that I'm just gonna say, I guess, turns heel. I won't reveal who it is. I haven't been keeping up with that series, so like when that happens, I was like, "Oh shit! Oh no!" There's
it is interesting. They were able to very well tie this together. This does have a bit of a bar of entry coming into it, because if you've not been reading Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or Green Arrow, like they tie in all these
Suicide Squad, Dream Team.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, Dream Team. Yeah, so all of these disparate, which have all been written by different people, and have different parties, they're all being tied together in this book. And I think Mark Waid does a great job of it. But if you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on, I think.
Yeah, I will say, if you read the Ground Zero Absolute Power, that'll give you like a quick summary of everything you need to know. They do 3 little stories. Did you read that last week?
I did.
Okay, yeah, because that was one of the things that I even put, like, this is gonna have spoilers for House of Brainiac. This is gonna have spoilers for Batman. This is gonna have spoilers for the Suicide Squad book, like everything, right? Because they definitely, that's a good primer. That's how you, if you want to do something this big, because this has been building probably since Mark Waid started the Batman Superman book long time ago, like maybe almost 2 years ago, probably.
Titans.
Yeah.
He's done stuff in here too.
Oh, zooming, camera's going crazy. But it's been building for a while, and then the Lazarus thing happened, and that's also had a lot of implications on this
Beast World.
So like, it's been since the dawn of DC stuff relaunched. They've been doing so good at keeping everything. It feels like it's tight, and it's like at least pretty cohesive, as well as Bloodhunt. Bloodhunt's also doing a pretty good job at like making sure that everything, like the tie-ins, make sense. They're not really interrupting a lot of the big storylines, right? The X-Men had their own thing, and it ended just at the right time for this to happen without any kind of consequence to the Krakoan Age. So yeah, they got some good planning over there.
Yeah, they really pulled it all together. We got Batman 150.
Batman 150.
It says it's an absolute power tie-in, but most of the story is just a one-off.
Half of it is. Yeah, I guess like 2/3 of it is. I mean, 1/3 of it is. Yeah.
I love that we get some old school Dennis Cowan.
Oh yeah.
Dennis Cowan artwork in here, which is super great. I love that stuff. I love it when they go old school.
I like
the back of the stories, though.
I like them intermingling Jimenez's art with Cowan's art, because they're so different. But they use Jimenez for like the flashbacks, I think, or kind of like a different moment in time.
Yeah, it's like it's just the very end, I think.
Well, he's in a few pages along the way.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I think it's the flashback stuff.
Yeah, so which is very cool. This is the story for anybody that hasn't read this. If you remember in The Dark Knight, there was a point where one of the accountants knew Batman's identity, and he was going to go to the press with it. This is the same thing, but what if it was like a henchman for, one of those goons for hire? How would they handle it and all that? So it's really cool.
And then the last book I read this week, it was the most recent issue of Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain, issue number 6. This has been on a long hiatus.
I think we know why now. Now that we'll talk about something else later, but I think now we know why it was on such hiatus.
That's true. But my favorite thing is the very first panel is a character walks in and says, "Sorry, I'm late." Sorry, I'm late, but the donuts are worth it, I swear, is the very first panel. So it's almost like Chip Zdarsky is obviously saying to us, I know it's been a bit, but here we are. And of course,
he brought donuts. I know it's been a minute, but I brought
donuts, and the donuts are worth it. But it's a great book. The public domain is about a comic book creator who was never properly paid correctly for the stuff that he co-created. There's a little bit of like Bob Kane and what's his name, the co-creators of Batman.
Yeah, Bill Finger and Bob Kane.
Bill Finger. There's a little bit of Bill Finger and Bob Kane story wrapped into this. A little bit of Jack Kirby. It's a lot about rights and how they're shared and who comes up with creative rights and stuff to characters. So the whole first part is about the whole first 5 issues of the story are about them kind of settling that who owns the issue, who owns the rights to this character,
Yes.
And then this next story is moving forward with, now that we have the rights settled, how do we put this character into a modernized world, I guess. Yeah. It's about an old comic book character they're trying to reinvent, I guess.
Which, if you stay tuned, we'll talk about the first issue of that in a minute.
Yeah. There's a in comic book to this universe that they are producing in real life.
That's right. We are now part of that meta universe.
That's right.
Also, the creator's name is I think it's Sid Dallas, and he manages Dallas Comics, and we live in Dallas, so like there's a lot of we're involved. Chip Zdarsky, call us, or come
on the show. We only have 2 people hosting right now.
Yeah, as you saw in the thumbnail, we need hosts. Okay, so one cool thing is that whenever we do notes, and I know Jeff usually does them before I do, we pretty much have the same slate of comic books. So he's already talked about pretty much everything I was going to talk about, except for one thing, and that's Star Wars Inquisitors. Yeah, if you give me a book with people wielding red lightsabers, I'm going to check it out. It's really interesting. It's written by Rodney Barnes, which is already that's already a good sign for me. And it follows the Inquisitors, which are like the Jedi hunters. They're not really Sith, but they work for Darth Vader and Palpatine. You might have seen them in, what was it, Boba Fett or Mandalorian? One of those shows.
I think it was
Kenobi. You're right. Yeah. So it's really cool, really interesting. They're hunting for a specific Jedi that has gotten away, because of course there's always Jedi that escape. There's always Jedi that escaped Order 66 when they're needed in the comics. So they're trying to draw him out of hiding, which is really cool. But one of the funnest parts was that as soon as I opened the issue, they give us a little tease for Darth Vader 48, and it just says Luke joins the dark side. So I'm excited to catch up on that. Greg Pak's been doing such a fun job with the Darth Vader book. Darth Vader has really had no bad runs. Whether it was Charles Soule, whether it was Greg Pak or Kieran Gillen, all 3 of the runs are stellar. I think so.
Nice.
Yeah. And then let me show you some of the other comics I did pick up, but I haven't read yet. Speaking of Jed MacKay, Moon Knight #0. Don't read this until after you're caught up with Blood Hunt. That's all I gotta say. Otherwise, you're gonna be spoiled. I picked this up. I think they printed this was one of those unlimited comics, Life of Wolverine. So they collected it, printed it. I wanted to check it out because it's by Jim Zub, and it's still part of the Krakoan Age, and it's something that I haven't seen. Especially as we get ready. I think X-Men #1 comes out this week.
It's coming week.
I'm very excited. I also haven't read it, but I did pick up X-Men Blood Hunt Psylocke #1. Nice. They just decided to do all my favorite characters with the one shot. They did Jubilee first. They did a Psylocke. They did Magic last week. And I think, who are they doing next week? It's somebody else that I really like as well. So, and then I also picked up this really nice Peach Momoko
nice.
Ahsoka cover. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love Peach Momoko's art, as you can probably tell. Which if you saw on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, I did pull her card from the One Piece game. Like she designed one of the characters. I know it's hard to tell, but I need to keep it in a case, otherwise it's worthless. All right, and the last thing
I picked up. How much is that worth right now?
I think it's like $50, but I mean, I opened it, so it was interesting to do that. So, and I picked up 2 variants of the book we reviewed last week. All the things we didn't do last night.
Oh yeah.
So, it's funny because this one is already bag and boarded, because at Titan Comics, anything that has adult themes, they get bag and boarded. But this one's from my pull list, so I didn't get the free bag and board, because when it's on your pull, they're like, well, it's not out for public consumption. So, so I should not subscribe, so they wouldn't. I just grab a bag and board for free.
Yeah.
So
now you got to pay for your own bag and board for that one.
I know, it's like a whole 35 cents. All right, that's all the comics I have. Before we move on to our reviews, Jeff, is there anything else you read, watched, did?
I'm in the process of reading Jonathan Hickman's Shield runs, those 2 little minis that he did.
Okay.
I'm not ready to talk about him yet, except I will say this: I didn't realize he was writing that and the Fantastic Four at the same time, which kind of blows my mind. It's very Jonathan Hickman-y. And I think I'm going to go back and research all the weird graphics that Jonathan Hickman has created over the years. That's what I would like to do.
There's a lot. You'd be surprised.
There's a lot. There's a ton. So
you'd be surprised as to how many. That man loves a diagram.
He loves a diagram.
I also wonder, like, does he do that? Does he send that to the artists or to the designers of the book? Like, I wonder how that gets put together.
I read he was like an architect major or something. I forget what it was. I did some research on him a long time ago, and he's got some weird background that. So I do think it's him. I think it's him.
Got it.
That comes up with all these graphs and stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, so because it's only Jeff and I today, and we got a bunch of time left over, since the other guys are just talking our ear off, we're gonna actually do 2 comic reviews that are coming out next week. So first up, our friends over at Dark Horse had sent us "Kill All Immortals" #1. This is a new book from Dark Horse, as I mentioned, and it is written by Zach Kaplan with art by Fico Ocio, colors by Tiago Rocha, letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. Let me give you a quick synopsis of this book. Succession meets John Wick with immortal Vikings. 1,000 years ago, Viking explorer Eric the Red and his 4 adult children discovered a mysterious source of immortality. Now, in our modern world, they are an enigmatic billionaire family with powerful banking empire. But when Eric's only daughter, Frey, seeks to finally be free from her family's influence, she must be prepared to reveal the supernatural secrets and confront her well-trained siblings in a deadly epic struggle for power. Get ready for a bloodthirsty, immortal fight like no other. Now, Jeff, when I asked what you wanted to review this week, this was one of the books you mentioned. Now, why did you pick that one? Did you have any previous knowledge of it, or?
No, I just, when you asked, hey, do you want any review, are there any comics you want to review this week? I just started flipping through to see what was coming out next week. I noticed it was a #1 that had a cool cover, and I recognized Zach Kaplan's name, so I was like, "This is one."
This is Oliver Barrett on the cover, and yeah, I mean, covers will do that.
Yeah. So that was it. I know nothing about this comic going into it.
Okay. It's funny you picked this. So before I ask you what you thought of the book,
so kids' looks matter. That's what that's the lesson out of this. Kids' looks matter.
That's right.
You know, you're going to hear all this stuff about how it doesn't matter what you look like in this world. But
judge a book by its cover. All right. That's funny that comic books is literally teaching us the thing that we've been told all our lives not to do.
Yeah. You've been lied to this whole time.
That's right. But I'm glad you picked this. I did want to talk about this as well. Luckily for me, a few weeks ago, I got to talk to Zach Kaplan with my friend Mike over at I Read Comics.
Oh, nice.
That episode will be dropping the day of the release of this on Wednesday, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I'll share that when it comes out. So we got to talk about this. So I had already read it when you picked that. That's why I did. I was like, if you want to read another book, we can do that as well. So all right. All that being said, Jeff, what did you think of this book?
I enjoyed it. It did take me a bit to get into it. There's like the first half of the book is all set up.
Yeah.
And so the first half of the book is like, I don't know where we're going with this exactly. It's very bloody. So you get it's not that it's not action packed. It's just I don't know where we're going with all this action, more or less. But then about halfway through, you kind of start to figure out where it's going, and then 4/5 of the way through the book, you finally hit the full twist. This is what we're going to go here from here on out, and that's where it definitely hooked me from that point forward. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely bloody. And the fact that we have immortals that can't be killed means that it's going to be graphic.
That's right.
Because you got to do a lot to an immortal to keep them down.
And I don't want to generalize about Vikings, but they've been known to be violent.
Yeah, exactly. It is reminiscent. I like that. The Succession meets what did it say? Succession meets
John Wick with Immortal
meets John Wick. It's more John Wick than Succession, I would say.
Yeah,
it's even got a little bit of what's that one horror movie with the bride that has to get out of the house
before they kill her? Hide and Seek.
Yeah, Hide and Seek or something like. Yeah, so it's a little bit of that feeling as well. But it's definitely entertaining. Definitely entertaining.
Okay. Yeah, and to your point, I really like the contrast. There's so many. They let you preview like 11 pages. I didn't put all of them on our preview notes, but there's like 11 pages of this book, which I think is like a 32-page book. So you're getting like a third of the book to read if you just go to the Dark Horse website and get the previews. But yeah, you get to you see the family, you see the estate, and they just kind of drop in right on their competitors or in somebody. Whenever a business deal doesn't go the way that they want it to go, they make it or go the way they want.
I honestly kind of, now that business is just run by like a handful of corporations, I would prefer it to be this way. Let's instead of it being about who has the most money, who has the strongest axes. Let's
bring back trial by combat.
Exactly.
But also, very interestingly enough, you meet Freya, and she's Frey, and she's really different. Like they immediately point that out by the shit, right? She's at the fashion shows. She's doing the what's it called? Charity work in different places, like her foundation. But then as you kind of build that, it's like these two things headed at each other. Like there's going to be a collision that's going to be imminent, and that's pretty apparent as you kind of get through the book. So I thought that was
but yeah, the book is definitely about all the males are very much capitalists, whereas Frey is very much I don't want to be a part of this family.
Yeah,
but I will give away as much money as I can.
Right. Causes. I mean, I guess if you're immortal too, like how much money would you need, or how do you make your time mean something? And I think they've chosen, both her family and herself chosen different paths. So yeah, I quite enjoy that. I said the art is pretty cool. Like it's the kind of the aesthetic that I like. It definitely feels a little bit of a throwback to the 90s comics, but updated, like in a more contemporary fashion, which is, I don't know, feels like kind of an oxymoron to tell you that something's a throwback that's contemporary, but that's the best way I can describe it. And yeah, they go all in on the insanity and the violence and the gore. So I quite enjoyed that as well. So, all right. Any other thoughts on the book?
No, it's worth does it say how many is it? I'm assuming it's like a mini of some sort, but does it say how many issues there are?
I don't think so. I don't know at the time. So, I mean, I'm, a lot of the companies, they do, let's do a mini series that it's successful enough, we'll just keep it as an ongoing.
We'll just keep going, yeah.
So, which is great. I mean, it's a good way to test out the market. So, all right. Well, thanks to our friends at Dark Horse. Thanks to Zach. I'm also on Zach Kaplan's media list, so like he sends us stuff all the time. He's got a few other comics coming out, and we'll talk about them as they come out in the next few months. And I think one of his books, Mindset, was just announced to be adapted to a TV series or something.
Oh, really?
Like that's a book from Vault where an app takes over people's mind, which is not as far-fetched as it would have if you would have pitched that 20 years ago.
That Elon's, what is it, MindLink or whatever Elon Musk has?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, to close this out, let's take a look at some of the variants for this. It's pretty good stuff.
I really like that. That A cover is really cool.
Fantastic. Yeah, great stuff. All right. Cool. So, like I said, because we have enough time and resources, and also our friends at Image also sent us something, we're going to do another quick advanced review. So, all right. So for this one, we are going to talk about the domain. Now, Jeff, do you want to clue us back into what you talked about a little earlier with the public domain stuff?
Yeah, so Public Domain is Chip Zdarsky's book about two comic book creators that have created a character named the Domain. The first 5 issues are about these two creators kind of settling out the rights for the domain, and then this issue 6, ends with them announcing the domain that is where we're getting now in real life. So the characters that are in here have created the book that we are reviewing today, even though it's actually Chip Zdarsky and
so you can even see it in the cover. The names that are crossed out are the names of the characters in the book, in the comic book, public domain.
In the Public Domain comic book.
Yeah. But as you can see in real life, it's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Retro Stott, colors by Aaron Angiolini, and design and letters by Jeff Powell. So, Jeff, let me give you a quick synopsis before you tell me your thoughts, actually. So, when 3 best friends discover a crashed UFO, perfect pitch already. They also discover technology that gives them an incredible abilities, but there's a catch. Only one of them can use the powers at the time. Can their friendship survive the powers temptations? In the pages of Image Eisner winning series Public Domain, Sid Dallas and the team at Dallas Comics reimagine their classic character, the Domain, for a new audience, and this is that comic. This special series, of course, written by the people that we already talked about. So it's going to be a fun meta story for readers of Public Domain. That's pretty incredible. I don't think I had ever heard of anything kind of like this where a book within a book kind of comes to. It's almost as if they had published the Black Freighter as an actual comic from Watchmen, right? Like a full. I know they had pages on it, but if they had published a standalone series of the Black Freighter.
The only thing I can think of is, so there's a book by Michael Chabon called The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, or The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay.
Okay.
It won a Pulitzer like a million years ago. But it is about two people that created a comic book character. It's sort of like the Superman story, basically. It takes place during World War II. One of them goes off to fight. Well, anyway, but they create a comic book character called the Escapist. And then later, Escapist comics came out. So they adapted that from the novel where they created this character into an actual comic book. But this kind of does the same thing. So this issue is about the Domain in this comic series was initially a singular character. And this issue is about them deciding to split the singular character into 3 characters and create the comic book around 3 characters. So this issue ends with them deciding on how to move forward with creating a character to this comic book. So it's pretty cool how they do it. Also, it must have been kind of a publishing nightmare to figure out to publish this the week before this comes out, you know?
Yeah, that's really cool. I wasn't aware because I forgot to pick up Public Domain. So I didn't know this was happening, but then you mentioned that and I was like, wait a minute, the Domain, Zdarsky, like this feels Public Domain, but I didn't read the synopsis before or anything. I wanted to go into it. I like to go into the books cold and then I'll go back and read the synopsis to make sure that I got everything right. But what did you think of the Domain number 1?
I really enjoyed it. It's a Green Lantern story, but with 3 people instead of 1, basically, sort of. I definitely think you get more out of this book if you've been reading Public Domain, because you get to see in Public Domain they have the argument as to how to the issue of Public Domain is kind of one of do we want to adhere to the classic character that we have that everybody knows and loves, or do we want to try to move forward and be more inclusive to people that are our current readers, kind of stuff. So it's interesting to see what they've come up with in this book versus what they were talking about in theory in Public Domain. As far as this book goes, it's a very even-keeled setup origin story. You get introduced to 3 characters. They find a crashed alien spaceship, and it gives them powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of where the first book ends. I'm excited to keep reading it because I really enjoy how it connects to public domain. I'm excited to see how they weave the two together. I'm excited for this book. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
and it's Chip Zdarsky. Like it's good stuff.
Yeah, it feels like it. What is it? Is it Stand By Me, the the book, the story that they discover? But instead of discovering a dead body, they discover. Well, I guess they do discover some dead bodies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got a little bit of that, and there's, they give you a 3 couple of pages about their friendship from high school and where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. I like the designs of the characters. I just really enjoy the art. It feels very like, let's go for a really comic booky style, right? Because it's supposed to be meta. We're doing this. It's very different from Zdarsky's own art in the public domain, which I think that's something that they wanted to make a real distinction on, to ensure the viewers like this is the thing that you're reading within the other thing. So yeah, it's fun. I like Chip Zdarsky. I like the premise overall, especially like as we get towards the end of the book, and they're like, well, there's a lot more coming. Like they open a big door, for this. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I feel like it's gonna be nothing but heartbreak for a little while, because that's kind of sometimes what Zdarsky likes to do. But I'm ready for it. Did you have any other thoughts on the art or anything like that?
No, I think it's just a good solid opener. It's definitely, again, if and I'm sure there's a public domain trade for the first 5 issues out there floating around, I would guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think it came out recently.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest reading public domain just for a more full experience of reading this book. But you don't have to. This works as its own thing.
Yeah.
So, like,
I read this and I'm not caught up on public domain. So
yeah, so it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely its own thing because it works as its own comic in universe and out of universe. So
cool. All right. Well, let us know what you thought about this book if you have read it. Thanks again to our friends over at Image for sending over this book. I'm glad we had enough time to go through it. And here's some of the variant covers that you can pick up this week, which is only 2 of them. That seems like too little. But I hope they do more of these RPG.
Yeah, that's cool.
These RPG ones. So like 1 for each character. So, all right. Well, the show is ours, Jeff, so we can do whatever we want. We don't have to do a 1 minute of wrestling. We can talk about it for more.
We got a wrestling hour if we want to. We got Money in the Bank coming up tonight.
Money in the Bank. Just real quick before that, I know you don't watch a lot of AEW, but Britt Baker came back this week.
Did see that. I love me some DMD.
She called out Mercedes Moné, saying a few things. I like Mercedes Moné, but her music always trips me out because it sounds like Gunther's music. So I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, that was a good segment, and also the match with Will Ospreay and Daniel Garcia was really good. I think that was this week as well. So yeah, check that out.
I believe so.
All right, let's get into it.
What did Britt Baker have? Why was she out for so long? Was it a shoulder thing?
She had what she referred to as a mini stroke.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was pretty intense, but she's doing a lot better.
Her and Adam have not had a.
Yeah, they've had a year. But yeah, no, she says they caught a lot of things early, and she was able to work through it, and she's doing a lot better. Nice. Yeah, she looks fantastic, ready to go as well. So, and I'm glad that she's coming back as a babyface because I think that suits her a lot better than the heel.
It also suits Mercedes Moné as a heel way more than she is as a face.
So it just works out for everyone. So I don't know how long they're gonna extend that rivalry. I hope they take it all the way to Wembley. That'd be a good payoff for the showcase of that. So
I also started to wonder when they switched her, and I'm not super caught up on the AEW, but I know Mercedes Moné went on the, like, she's been getting a lot of press because she was talking about how WWE did not let her go out and do The Mandalorian. There's been a lot of talk online. They're like, WWE seems to love people to go out and do stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. But it does make me wonder if she doesn't, if that's not a little bit of kayfabe on her part, just stirring up some controversy right before her heel turn, you know?
I think WWE likes people that they have chosen to go do stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's something you got on your own, kind of, which this seems like kind of what it was, like she just got it on her own. Well, I mean, obviously through being in WWE, but like, because obviously they did the whole thing where they were taking their, they're like, you can't be on Twitch and make money off of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
Too.
So it feels like whenever they want to do something, and that might be one of the reasons Becky's on hiatus right now, because she's got her book stuff coming up, and they're like, I'm just gonna do it. And it's probably a little bit different now with Triple H in charge.
As I say, that was old regime.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully that's the case, and I just think that's probably the case. That if you're gonna make a movie, it's because like they kind of prompted you to it, right? They don't want. It's like they don't want you to leave too early to go be in Hollywood. Like, we're gonna get as much money as we can out of you before we let you go make your own.
You would think, with all those internet rumors that of Disney possibly buying WWE that were going on a couple of years ago, you would think that they would want to butter up to Star Wars. It'd be like, yeah, have all our wrestlers. We love you, Star Wars, and by de facto, Disney.
And how much was that? Like, how much was the Disney rumors like? Just incentive for TKO to actually make the move.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all. That's why that's why it should be dealt by trial by combat. All these deals should be taking place, like the Kill the Immortals. So
yeah.
All right.
Listen, we could solve our capitalism problems real quick.
Yeah, eventually there wouldn't be that many people at the top.
That's right.
No, they would just pay poor people to do it, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Back to square one.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank.
Here's my chosen champion.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like Troy.
That's right. With Brad Pitt, I'm all over that.
Yeah. Which we'll swing back around. If we get to recommends this week, I went to Shakespeare in the Park last night here in Dallas.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'll talk about that when we circle back around. But let's talk about some wrestling.
Such good weather too, but
it was yeah.
Just like the weather is in Canada, I assume. I don't know. I haven't checked. But that's where Money in the Bank is going to take place, and that was my segue. Jeff, do you want to run us through the Money in the Bank card, and then we'll make our picks? You guys can tell us how wrong we were next week.
Sure. We'll talk about. Let's see here. Oh, these are pretty big matches. So let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank match. We've got Jey Uso versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade versus Chad Gable versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre for the men's Money in the Bank match.
I've been eating the whole time. I just want.
I've been watching. Watching. Yeah. I feel like this is hard. I want to say Drew McIntyre because it makes sense if it were Drew McIntyre because of his storyline. WWE loves stacking storylines. So it makes sense. I feel like we're going to see maybe some Wyatt Six shenanigans with Chad Gable.
Oh, do you remember how Rey Mysterio got thrown off a building a few years ago?
I forgot, but I do remember. Yes, I love
that. I feel like something on that level is going to happen tonight to Gable with the Wyatt Six.
Do you ever? This is a quick side note. Do you ever think we will go back to cinematic matches? I mean, there's no reason to. But they did some cool stuff like during the cinematic match era.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I mean that Bray Wyatt John Cena match.
Yeah. That was fantastic. Even the Undertaker AJ Styles, yeah. They did some really interesting things during the pre-record match days.
I hope we do. I hope they don't overdo it. I guess they should like do one at WrestleMania or something. Well, I guess they also don't want to. Maybe that feels cheap for the crowd going to WrestleMania. I don't know.
I don't know how you would do it. Would be one of those things. I don't know how you would do it because it would feel weird if it started off as a cinematic match and then now they're in the arena kind of
But
thing.
that Money in the Bank match at the building, like at the headquarters, I guess
Yeah.
it's the old headquarters. I think they are a new building now. But the fact that both matches were going on at the same time, that was insane. And the fact that
Exactly.
they were going run all over the place. They should do like Money in the Bank. You know how they do the matches for War Games that are side by side?
Mm-hmm.
It's side by side rings, and then the women's title's above one of them, the men's title's above the other one, and they're just both happening at the same time.
Like it's just like a giant ropes course, kind of,
Yeah,
sort of. They just have to.
yeah.
They can use anything in the ropes course.
Um,
Who do you? So I think Drew McIntyre is my top pick.
I think
maybe LA Knight or Jey Uso as
so. I feel this is gonna set up a bunch of storylines. I think it's gonna set up a rivalry with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, and they're gonna have a program. I think Drew is gonna be close to winning, and my hope is that AJ Lee screws him over somehow. or if not her, like some kind of proxy for Punk, or even Punk himself. I think he's kayfabe hurt. I don't think he's really hurt. I'm not sure.
I think they kayfabe. From what I heard, they kayfabe hurt him because his recovery was. The kayfabe almost killed him because his recovery was taking a little bit longer than they expected it to.
So I
think he could take light bumps maybe or something.
Yeah.
But they kind of want to back off that stuff.
I hope. So like I said, I think some kind of proxy for Punk is gonna stop Drew. I think Chad Gable's gonna get eaten by the earth, or the Fireflies are gonna just fly him away. And I think that LA Knight would make the funnest Money in the Bank holder. Just a constant threat everywhere.
Yeah, he would be.
LA Knight is money. That's like, as much as I want to see Yeet in the bank, I feel like maybe one of the bloodline does something to Jay to kind of kick that off. So I think LA Knight is my pick. But if not, I think probably Jay has. Yeah, it feels kind of like a waste right now for Jay to hold it because I think they could hold it for a long time too, but I guess we'll talk about that when we get to the heavyweight championship match. But yeah, those are my picks. So my pick is LA Knight. So let me make some notes so we can. Okay, what else we got?
So then we move on to the women's Money in the Bank match.
All right.
We have Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra.
Say it right.
Lyra Valkyria.
Say it right.
Lyra Valkyria.
No, not Valkyria.
Oh, Chelsea Green.
There you go. Did you see her make Michael Cole say it like that at the press conference? Go back and watch the press conference from yesterday. She made him do Samantha Irvin.
Oh, did she? That's funny. Yeah. I love Chelsea Green. I think she's great. I would love to see a stable with her and the Iconics. Like, I love chaos characters. Like, that stuff just cracks me.
And keep Piper Niven as their heavy. Yeah,
and keep Piper Niven as their heavy. I did see somebody say we need more girl stables like in wrestling because there's all a bunch of boy stables.
Damage Control was amazing for however however long they went.
Yeah, I always want them to be like they always kind of tease like a badass ex-UFC stable, but then they never get beyond two people. Anyway.
Yeah, I also hope Asuka recovers. I know she just recently had surgery in her leg, I think so.
Yeah.
So
Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark.
Tiffy time.
I hope it's Tiffy time. I want it to be Tiffy time. I want Tiffy. I want Tiffy to win. She's great on the mic, even though she got in a little bit of hot water. Online, but she's great in ring.
She's got backup on the Queen of the Ring as well.
Yeah,
they got a good thing going on there.
I don't really see. I mean, Naomi could win. I I feel bad for Naomi. She's really good, but she just never seems to be able to push above the mid card. Zoe Stark's awesome, but I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning the same way. I think I would like Lara to win, but because there is no women's match on the card, like if what's her name? If Bailey was defending against like Naya or something, or even Piper, if that match would have happened tonight, I would say, oh, maybe Lyra wins, and then she cashes in that same night. To the problem with a babyface holding the Money in the Ring a briefcase is that it's not as entertaining as a heel.
Which also makes me think Chelsea Green could be the dark horse here.
Oh yeah, I mean either Chelsea or Tiffany. Like I think either of them is going to win. Io, this is going to be the last straw. She's going to turn on Damage Control. I think.
Because it would be fun to watch a Chelsea Green with a briefcase with Piper Niven as the actual threat,
handling the dirty work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the same with Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. I'll go with Chelsea Green just so it'll be different.
Yeah.
And then we can see who won with our picks. So, all right. Next.
All right, so now we have the Intercontinental match: Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, who actually broke what's his name's ribs a couple of weeks ago.
Sheamus Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser. He actually broke Ludwig Kaiser's ribs.
Dude, speaking of that, like WWE's getting like these really cool drone shots, especially with Braun. Like those shots from above, him just running around the ring.
Yeah,
they look insane.
Apparently, that was a Jake Paul idea that they kept shooting down under Vince, and then after Vince left, they were finally like, or not Vince, but whoever was the
the other guy, his guy that also left. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost look. I don't like Logan Paul. He's dirtbag, but unfortunately, he knows what he's doing when it comes to video, or at least he has people that know what they're doing. So maybe he listened to the guy that has all those millions of views, and they look cool. Like when he jumped up the top rope, that looked amazing. Like with that drone shot, cool. The drone shot in Puerto Rico as you enter the stadium, that was super cool. So
they really stepped up their game, camera angle wise and stuff.
It feels bad because like AEW can't really do that because their arenas aren't full. So like they have to choose. They have to pick.
Have you seen the J-Lo footage from her her first concert where the whole top stand is empty?
Yeah.
Anyways, so Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. I don't know how. I see Sami Zayn retaining. I don't know who this match helps. Actually, I don't know who this match helps. Whatever.
So I see this as Sami trying to win the title the first time was Rocky 1. Sami finally winning the title was Rocky 2. I see this as Rocky 3. I think Sami's gonna drop the title. And then he'll have to come back and get it. So I think Braun's gonna win this one.
Does Sami come out with an old man who ends up dying mid-match? Does he come out with his Mickey?
Yeah, I think. I mean, they could. They're in Canada, so like his family might be there. So
Kevin Owens could come out and he could like slip on a banana peel or something.
I don't want Braun Breaker to kill anyone from his family. Did you? Oh wait, hold on. Did I do that? Oh, okay. The document you put champion in parentheses, I guess, from where you copied it, and then when I clicked space, it did the copyright. It transformed it into the copyright logo. And then
okay.
I was just putting your name there. All right, so you'll go with Sami, and I'll go with Braun.
Yeah, I'll say Sami.
Nice. Which, although maybe Sami doesn't lose in Canada, that might be a fool's gamble that I'm going with, but we'll see.
Maybe the loss in Canada makes it even that much more entertaining.
Yeah, maybe.
We've got, let's see, what do we have? The Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and or Jacob Fatu. We don't know which ones. I just pulled this from an article, so I don't know which ones are.
I don't think they've decided. They're kind of doing like a Freebirds thing where their team is whoever they pick.
Yeah. I love the Freebird.
I would even say Solo doesn't even begin. Solo's not even in the match. It might just be
the other three.
The Tonga.
I mean, it would be a good showcase for them to like. We really haven't seen much of them.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob Fatu came in like a beast.
Yeah,
I think they call him the Samoan Wolf. It's cool.
I'm not. I mean, all these guys are new to me. So
okay. I've seen a little bit of highlights from them, but all right.
I feel like you gotta have the Bloodline win this one. You can't set them out as a badass group and then have them lose their first big match out.
There's gonna be shit. They're gonna win by shenanigans, but they're gonna win.
They're gonna win by shenanigans, but they're gonna win. It's still way too early, I feel, to bring back. I think it's still way too early to bring back Roman or anybody like that. I think we keep Paul Heyman away for a couple of weeks. After
he deserves a break. Did you read the article that he didn't sleep the night before that show so that he would look as disheveled as he did?
No, I didn't see that.
That's crazy.
That's some method acting from
dude.
He's like almost 70 too.
Daniel Day-Lewis, eat your heart out.
That's right. And then finally we have the World Heavyweight Championship match: Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. I don't see Damian dropping this belt at all. I think it'll be a good match. I think there'll definitely be shenanigans. I think.
Man, so I'm conflicted because I'm like, is this the moment to break up the Judgment Day? Like, this feels like a good moment to break up the Judgment Day. Like, Finn takes over, they bring in Liv, because that's what they've been hinting at.
Yeah.
Carlito probably does something to be. I don't know. I mean, supposedly the Judgment Day won't be involved in the match, right? That was their deal that they had. But Seth can't challenge. Yeah, I think Damian wins. Just because of the whole thing where Seth can't challenge anymore.
I know she just got married, so it's probably still not anytime soon. But do we know when Rhea Ripley's coming back?
Well, I mean, she's also still hurt, I think.
She's also still hurt, yeah.
I think, if anything, at the soonest, it would be SummerSlam.
SummerSlam?
Yeah. At the soonest, I would think. I don't know.
I love the storyline between Liv and Dom. I love where they're going with it. It's so good.
It's so horny.
It's so horny. So horny.
That's so funny because, like, look, I mean, Dominic's not a bad-looking guy, but he's not, like, I love that he does the mustache, right? Like, he does all these little things to be
the crowd starts chanting, "Shave your mustache." That I'd laugh for a good 10 minutes over that. It's just so funny.
It grew in thick, though. I hope that if that's his real mustache, because at first it was like very like Eddie would have it, like, you know, like it was very thin, but like this on Monday, that thing looked a lot thicker. So it'd be funny if it was on a real mustache.
So good, because he's like, I remember when he first started wrestling with his dad, I was just like, okay, it felt very Nepo baby kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this last match last Monday that he had with his dad, like, it was so good. Like, and I think that the great thing about Dom is that he, almost like Jake Paul, he doesn't wrestle very often. Like, he's not an every week guy. Like, he's on TV every week.
I think he's wrestle a whole lot. He was a little hurt because last year he was he wrestled the most matches out of everyone.
Oh, really? Okay.
With the live events and all that, yeah, last year. But I think he hurt his arm recently, and I think that's why
he had it in the cast for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like I haven't seen. I do remember him wrestling a lot.
Yeah, but he's kind of a workhorse because they put him to take. He was just taking losses against anybody really. Anybody that wanted to heat up. So,
but he's great. Yeah. He's great in the ring. He's got all the little things down, yelling at the ref.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler. He's a good heel. He's moved out from under his dad's shadow. And I saw a little bit of the interview with Rey Mysterio that Chris Van Valent, I think it's his name. He's like real, does a lot of wrestling and stuff. Like, and yeah, Ray was like, he's his own wrestler now. He's really proud of him. So it's interesting to see like him call like kayfabe. He's like, yeah, my deadbeat dad. But like, I imagine as soon as he goes to the back, he's like, damn, dad, we're really doing this shit. Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, okay, so yeah, I think those are our picks. Before we move on from wrestling, did you watch the WrestleMania 40 behind the scenes thing?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Did you watch it?
It's excellent. Yeah, it's excellent. It definitely feels a lot of like The Rock rewriting history.
I've seen the Rock memes. I've seen all the Rock memes.
Yeah. I've seen some memes where he's like, where he rewrites a lot of other plots from TV shows and stuff. Like it's his idea, but it's still
my favorite is he's like, Steve, just call it the Stone Cold Stunner. You know?
Yeah. A lot of stuff like that. But it is really, really interesting and it's really good. So I highly recommend if you haven't seen it.
What is it on? Is it on?
It's on YouTube. It's just on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yep. It's weird that they gave you something for free, but they did it. Okay, cool. All right.
Do you? And then here's my final wrestling question.
Sure.
This also made some noise. Do you have an opinion on the Wyatt Six eating at Whataburger? Did you see this,
dude? Yeah, I saw that. I do have an opinion. Let me tell you what it is. Relax. These people have to have one. Like, okay, so that they're it's a no-win situation for them, right? If they don't take the picture, the fans are gonna blast them on social media, and kayfabe is broken regardless. So I might well make the day of somebody that's rooting for you to succeed, and take a picture with them. Like, yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like kayfabe is take it as far as you want. Like, it's like, I know Vin Diesel's not driving all these cars in the movies. It's whatever, like, right? Or it's like when you see how many wrestlers do you see hanging out that they have a rivalry, like, but you see them hanging out outside of the shows or whatever.
Yeah. We live I feel like once social media came into play, like,
yeah,
you have to turn that off. Like, you have to be able to be like, I enjoy kayfabe in the moment while I'm watching the show, but then after the show, you have to understand that these are people that have their own lives.
I rather know that wrestlers like their coworkers than to keep kayfabe alive. Right. Like, I can turn it on when I'm watching Raw for 3 hours on Monday or SmackDown on Friday, right, and then turn it back off. Obviously, if you do kayfabe stuff, like all the stuff with Dominic visiting his dad during the holidays, that was a lot of fun, right? But also, if I ever see in the background, like after a match, like if we see some behind the scenes of like their WrestleMania match or whatever, and like Ray and Dominic are hugging, like, yeah, that's his dad. He's proud of him. Like, they're
exactly.
So I'm not gonna feel So
I mean, also, you can see because you can see this stuff. Like, I think it was like right after that Christmas stuff, like Dom got married in real life, so it was like,
you get to see. And then Rhea just got married. What am I gonna be like? Oh no, don't get married. Whatever. So
yeah, exactly.
Also, Whataburger would make anyone chill, even the Wyatt Six.
Right. Yeah.
Now that Whataburger.
You're not you when you're hungry. Go get some Whataburger.
Right. It's people that are they're not from Texas. They don't understand how Whataburger can just fix a whole day.
Yeah.
So I do love the vignettes, those VHS tapes that they keep giving Michael Cole. So now it's kayfabe that they have to carry around a VCR in the production truck to
so
play the tape, right?
The first time they get the tape, Michael Cole was like, we have to see if somebody still has a VCR somewhere in the back.
I wish they had footage of somebody going to a pawn shop to try to buy one to bring back to the show.
That would be fun if they did like more YouTube clips, like WWE exclusive, like they send some intern to a pawn shop.
Yeah. So cool. All right, that was our wrestling thing. I might break this out into its own video for later today because Money in the Bank is tonight, right? So
it is tonight.
All right. Jeff, you also pulled in. So I guess let me say for anybody that's still watching, our main topic today was going to be Jaws because we wanted to talk about the film for the July. But because of a plethora of circumstances, our other co-host couldn't be here. We wanted to save that. So stay tuned.
Sharks.
We'll do. Yeah. I keep seeing reports of sharks in places where sharks aren't supposed to be, and it's both crazy and scary. So,
like at the mall.
Yeah. Get out of here, shark. We don't have shark stores. But yeah, we'll
This is
do
a hot topic.
A little emo shark. So we're going to do Jaws on the next show, which should be next week probably, and then when Josh comes back for the week after that, we'll finish off the the comic event bracket. We'll do the other half of that. So that's kind of what the rest of the month's looking like. But Jeff, you found some interesting news that we can talk about to kind of start wrapping up the show.
Yeah, to kind of continue with our controversial news topics. We start off with the question of how do you feel about wrestlers going to Whataburger? Let's continue with how do you feel about comic book executives charging $20,000 for a drawing or a commission? This story broke this week that JimLee charges $20,000 for a commission drawing, and the internet flipped out on it. I guess thinking it was too expensive for a drawing. I have zero issue with it. Art costs money. Things cost money. JimLee's time is valuable.
He runs a comic book company.
Yeah, and he's exactly. And he's an executive. He doesn't do this stuff. I mean, he still draws all the time, but that is not his main job nor source of income anymore.
Right.
And being an executive, you can go back and forth as to how much executives actually work, but they do stay on call quite a bit. So I would imagine that he probably just doesn't have a whole lot of time to. I would imagine, honestly, that in the time that it takes him to finish a drawing that he feels like is completely finished, is probably $20,000 is probably close to what he would make in his normal hourly wage if you were to break it up, honestly.
So here's from Comics Beat. And then this was all over the place, but this was the first place I could find it. So for the first time in over 15 years, JimLee is going to be taking commission requests to be delivered exclusively almost all the shows he's appearing in this year, including San Diego Comic-Con. This offer is an exclusive to show attendees only and won't be shipped out. So you have to, on top of the $20K you have to spend to get the commission, you have to be able to go to like one of these shows. So it's going to be pencils and inks by JimLee, the 11 by 17, which is I think that's the normal comic book page size.
Yeah.
Full figure, one character with limited backgrounds for $20,000. If more than one character or extra backgrounds or the recreation of a cover not drawn by JimLee can be $25K to $35K. Interesting that they grabbed the $20K and not the $35K, since that's a higher price for the headline.
That's the base.
So 9 by 12, it's going to be from the waist up, $9K to $15,000. A little bit more for backgrounds, and then just a simple headshot drawn in for a sample shown below. I think $1,000. Yeah, so I mean it kind of goes from there, but it's pretty crazy.
I did not know that.
Super worth it.
I had not seen the price points, all of them out.
Yeah,
I'm very curious. So read that one again about you could commission him to draw a comic cover that is not his own comic cover. So like somebody,
the creation of other covers not drawn by JimLee will be $25,000 to $35,000.
That makes me want. I'm like, what other person's cover would I have JimLee draw? I'm not ready to answer this question yet, but that is definitely a question.
I'll start thinking about it. You can pay by credit card or PayPal with a 5% service fee.
Oh, wow, 5%! Holy cow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
But yeah, I have zero issue with him charging whatever he wants. They
also gathered a few thoughts from people in the industry, like other creators. So Scott Kahn, I see people bitching about JimLee's commission prices, but he did a lot of stuff with all these characters for over 4 decades. This wasn't just work; there were passion projects. No one bitches when entertainers get paid a lot. You do the work, the company makes the big bucks. You earn your shots. Tom Taylor, of course. So there's this guy who painted the ceiling of a chapel, but he thinks he's too good to paint a picture on my roof for $100 and a few beers. Tom Taylor's really funny. That was really good. Yeah, so it's all over the place. An influence from Bengal. No one is shocked when a YouTuber, an OnlyFans star, or an influencer sells a toenail for a fortune, or when a Hollywood star asks for hundreds for a photo or a signature. But when a music artist goes for thousands, but God forbid, comics legend would ask for money for his art. Yeah, this is. I mean, these all make it seem like very dumb arguments, but.
Let me put this into some context here.
Sure.
So
sure.
do you remember the Banksy artwork that got shredded live at auction?
Yeah, the girl with the balloon, I think it's called.
Yeah. Something. So that piece now sells for $25.4 million
per strand.
So for strand. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's per strand or if it's the group of strands, but you can get a shredded piece of Banksy artwork for $25 million. Then I feel like $20,000 for a JimLee artwork is okay. Not too bad. It's pretty much a deal.
Here's what we do, Jeff. We gather $20,000 to get a commission by JimLee. Then we shred it on the channel to get the views, and then we sell the strips.
This is smart.
To get our money back.
That's divestment of fun. That's kind of like I think that's what they call. I don't know anything.
Diversifying your portfolio, right?
Yeah, exactly. We split our stocks, which is actually
that what a stock split is?
Yeah, that's what a stock split is.
How could they shred it?
Yeah. Now I could not pay $20,000 for a JimLee piece of artwork, but I did look up. I don't know if you've pulled up these links or not yet.
Let me open them.
But I did go into eBay and look up to see, just randomly typed in random things to see what I could buy for $20,000, what other things I could buy for $20,000.
Jeff did go into eBay to spend $20,000 worth of stuff.
I did. Yeah, I went into our funds, the Next Issue Podcast bank account, and pulled out some money.
Patreon. Join our Patreon now.
So would you rather have a JimLee drawing or a fossil, a dinosaur fossil?
It's an ichthyosaur. There's a lot of pictures of this thing. 66 pages, 21 pictures.
This is definitely bigger than the JimLee drawing.
And it took a lot longer to make.
It took a lot longer to make.
Look, I know JimLee's been accused of being a slow artist, but this took a lot longer, right?
Yeah. I would honestly rather own the dinosaur bones. I think these are cool.
All right, Vince.
So, although apparently they could get your house floor dirty. Could you imagine buying a $20,000 like something like this and then hanging it on your wall and then having it fall off and then just shattering into a bunch of pieces?
That'd be crazy. We have another thing.
So that's one of them.
Expensive.
You could also buy this watch for $265,000. I would definitely never buy a watch for this much. I don't even like wearing watches.
Does it come with the pillow?
If it comes with a little pillow, definitely worth it. But if you need your Swiss timing as precise.
If I'm gonna pay $250,000 for a watch, can we get like some better pictures? Like some not off center stuff? Like what is this?
They spent a lot of money on the watch.
Yeah, like get a tablecloth, homie. Yeah, that's bad. Like that's never gonna sell.
All right, so we would not take the watch. No watch. Sorry, watch.
This is also JimLee adjacent, kind of.
Here we have. You could buy Batman #1. a little bit under $200,000.
It's only a 7.5 though. Gross.
Yeah, disgusting.
Might as well trash it. Crack it open.
And shred this.
Yeah. Dude. Well, this we could just stare at the pages and sell each one.
7.5.
Ooh, cream to off-white pages. Who's this?
Would you rather have a JimLee drawing or Batman #1? Here's the question.
The original first appearance of the Joker and the cat, aka Catwoman.
And the cat.
Where's Bill Finger's credit? He created the. I don't want this.
You have to handwrite it in there.
Not without Bill.
I think there's one more.
If there is one more. Probably my favorite.
You can own a piece of Michael Jordan's shoe. A Michael Jordan card. And I think I had a hard time figuring this description out. I think there's a piece of gold in here as well somewhere. I had a hard time figuring out exactly what this was.
Jordan R game shoe, used shoe, Air Jordan, strap jersey, Nike swoosh.
So I think the Michael Jordan face is the card. The strips are the part of a shoe that he wore during a game. And I think there's like a tiny, maybe the card is a gold bar card or something like that. I don't know.
The gold bar is the upper deck autograph thing. It's the the grading.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, 26 out of 45? Nah. Oh, so it's a piece of the original artwork, a piece of the jersey, and a piece of the shoe.
Oh, I see.
All put together into a card that's then been graded by Beckett.
With Michael Jordan's signature. I guess that's Michael Jordan.
Oh, I mean, that's original art. But, man, still, this is a lot. Game shoe. What about the jersey? If this was the jersey and not the shooting shirt, I might be more interested. Okay, that's not... I mean, it feels like a lot of money still.
Would you rather a JimLee or a Michael Jordan shoe?
I think I would rather have a JimLee. No offense to Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm. He's going to challenge you to a one-on-one game now.
I have my own Jordans. I learned from the Bugs Bunny School of Basketball, so he's in for it.
So, yeah, that was just some of the things I wanted to compare just to see what else was out there for that kind of money.
Nice. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. So thanks everybody that watched live. Jeff, do you have a recommendation for next week or for the show, I guess?
Well, if you live locally in Dallas, where I'm local, I did go see Shakespeare in the Park. The Shakespeare in the Park is happening right now, the summer season of Shakespeare in the Park. I saw scenes from the Odyssey. I haven't read the Odyssey since high school. I've seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which is an Odyssey adaptation. That's probably the most recent thing that I remember from the Odyssey.
For real?
Yeah. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is
like isn't that a Coen film?
The Coen film? Uh-huh. It's based off the Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay.
The Odyssey is the story of Odysseus, who you get to see, who Sean Bean plays in Troy. Sean Bean is Odysseus in Troy. And after the Battle of Troy.
And spoiler alert, he doesn't die in this one.
He does not, because then he has to go on his Odyssey, which is what this play is about. So after leaving Troy, he tries to get back home to his hometown of Ithaca. But at some point, he pisses off Poseidon, the god of the ocean. And so Poseidon's like, go F yourself. You're going to have a heck of a time. Poseidon's like, I'm not going to kill you, but you're not going to get home anytime soon. So he just like makes the sea keep him away. The Odyssey ends with Odysseus returning home. He's got all these suitors trying to woo his wife and take over his kingdom. And he ends up killing all the suitors and getting back together with his wife. And he's like, I hope you've been loyal to me, wife. And she's like, I've been nothing but loyal, which is true, I guess, as far as old stories like that go. However, what's funny is Odysseus, like on his like 8, 10, 12-year journey back, however long it took him to get back, he like is a man whore the whole time. So he's sleeping with like all kinds of demigods and whatnot. But he comes back and he's like, hope you've been loyal, wife. By the way, I slept with Circe, I slept with Calypso, I slept with all kinds of people just to get myself back home.
Anything that
I feel like his little anything that moved. I was with it, but I'm glad that you've been loyal, which is a little
Doesn't he have to shoot an arrow through like a bunch of little holes to prove that it's him?
Yeah, he has to bow his own. He has to string his own bow, which nobody could do. Well, none of the suitors could do. And then it's like that scene from Robin Hood, the animated Robin Hood, where they have an archery contest.
I think a production company uses that as their like little card where like the bronze statue shoots the arrow through the.
Yeah.
Yes,
that is one of them.
Yeah, one of those.
But the production itself is really good. It's a musical, which I was not really expecting. And they're doing the Odyssey. They're doing Twelfth Night on some nights. And then I think there's a third Shakespeare play that they're doing. I don't know what it is.
Probably midnight.
I think it runs through August. It's in the evening, so it's not. Last night was not hot at all, honestly. But yeah, if you find yourself with nothing to do in the city of Dallas on a night, it's not too bad. Go out and see some Shakespeare in the park. Pretty good stuff.
If you were planning to be in Dallas, if you were kidnapped and dropped off here, then go to the authorities.
yeah, exactly. Only if you were planning to be here.
That's right. Cool. All right. Well, mine's not as cool as Shakespeare, but it's there. It's the movie Troy. No, I'm just kidding. Which
it's just a dumb Homer book.
Why didn't they ever make that Odysseus film with Sean Bean?
I don't know.
Feels like a move where they just kind of missed out on. Although I guess that wouldn't have been
the Troy universe.
The Troy movie was pretty grounded.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get back into because then you have like Cyclopses and all kinds of. Right. It gets real Greeky mythology.
All right. Well, my recommendation is.
It does play out like a telenovela.
Oh yeah. So that's cool. Where they come from. The Greek myths, the original Greek.
Yeah, like the telenovelas.
My recommendation is X-Men #1. Ryan Stegman, Jed McKay. Giving us a new X-Men. Pretty excited for this from the Astros.
So do you have here? We have Cyclops, Psylocke,
Beast,
is that
Magic,
Kid Omega,
Juggernaut, and I don't remember. I always forget her name. I think it's probably
Io. I don't know her name, but I know you.
Temper. I think her name is OAS. Yeah, something like that. And there's 23 covers, so let's go through a few of them.
23 covers. Jeez Louise.
Jason Scott Campbell. George Perez.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about them reusing work from other artists. Okay. Pablo Villalobos.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Alex Ross. Ooh, good luck with this one. This one's a San Diego Comic-Con 2024 exclusive. Oh, that's beautiful. Chris Sulo, Tyler Kirkham, Tony Daniels, Scott Campbell. Who is this?
Tyler
Christopher. Oh, these are the negative space. Yeah, these are pretty cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
That's just the logo. That seems kind of. Oh, Peach Momoko. Oh, damn.
With another one you got to get.
No. Whoa, Scott Koblish. This is a wraparound. This isn't even the whole thing.
I love a Scott Koblish wraparound cover.
Yeah, Scott Koblish. He did that Thing book, right? The Thing or something like that. He did a book recently.
The Thing is.
Oh, was it James Stocco? No.
It was.
I get confused.
Gosh, I can't remember.
Oh, here's the. Oh, you know who else that we missed? Magneto, part of the team. Chair Magneto. This is the Scotty Young, of course. Tony Daniels variant. Wait a minute, look at that.
The swimsuit variant.
At the beach. Who is this? Carrie Andrews.
Carrie Andrews?
Oh, yeah. We just talked about Carrie Andrews. We have go check out our video on Spider-Man Rain. Oh, I didn't even talk about Spider-Man Rain. I also read that.
I was going to say, didn't Spider-Man Rain come out?
Yeah. I did read Spider-Man Rain, too. So if you want to hear my thoughts on it, just wait. It'll be a review on the channel soon. Nathan Zerdy. And we're back. So there you go. Buy at least one of those covers. That's my recommendation.
Nice.
All right. Well, great show, everyone. Thank you very much, Jeff, for not losing your internet or being dragged away by a shark or being involved with the cultural events happening around Dallas.
Yeah, got it all out of the way earlier this week.
That's right. It's good. It's not as warm today, so you can really get up early, take your time to do the cool stuff. So, all right. Well, that's all for now. For everybody watching, thank you very much. Stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff coming on this week. And thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The most important thing in life will always be
Hail Bebo.
Peter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.